Olivia, what's good?
What's good?
You look so professional right now. I'm so into it.
Wow, thank you. Is it my sitting stance?
It's your sitting stands, the fact that you're using an actual microphone in some type of concert hall. Well, first of all, where are you right now?
I'm currently in Los Angeles. I'm at a really cool venue called New House.
Hmm.
Um, I'm sure that you've been here, but it's an amazing space. So I've just been hanging out here, working. Um, like I said, I did nothing with this setup. I just rolled up, and here I am.
Just showed up, put some clothes on, looked
Precisely.
amazing, and there you go.
Thank you. Wow. Thank you.
Of course. I want to know, how are you doing during this time? How are you feeling? Let's talk.
Let's chat. I'm doing good. Waves. I think the emotions, the feelings, everything has come in waves.
Hmm.
Um, Beginning of, COVID, quarantine, it was a little obviously scary because we didn't really know what was happening or what we were doing. Um, and so I got a little stressed, I think, in the beginning, and then I kind of changed my perspective and really just started to embrace the pause. I've been pretty consistently working for like the last, I don't know, like 10 years of my life.
Right.
With traveling and working on television shows and doing music and touring and doing tons of different things. So I think I needed a good solid break. I needed to like be in my space and just hang out at home, and then I got anxious again and I was like, no, this isn't what I'm used to. I don't want this. I don't like this. And then I sort of lost inspiration, and then I gained it back by going on road trips and just,
Hmm.
listening to new music and watching really cool, exciting shows. So waves, I can't really say that I've just been feeling one way because I've been feeling 100 different ways.
They said, what is it, like 7 stages of grief or something like that? Is
I
that
think
the
that's what
thing?
we're experiencing.
Bro, I am like anger. I'm like anger. I'll get the anger in the morning, and then I'm like, in denial. And I am the
Yeah.
same exact way. Like when it first happened, I was so mad at the world because I felt like this like plague is keeping me away from all of my friends and my
You're saying
family.
it.
Right. And it
Yeah,
was like messing with my mental and like my.
I
It
know.
was crazy.
I know.
What else have
I'm
you been doing
there.
to keep yourself busy?
I think more recently I've been trying to, because I think in the beginning I was like, I'll try new hobbies. I was like,
Hmm.
no, I don't think I'm good at anything else. So I was like, I'm going to really just get back into the space that I know that I'm passionate about. And um, just started reading more and finding ways to keep creative and to keep inspired, and doing that alongside of writing music and still collaborating with people, which is really easy to do, over the internet. And um, I started cutting vocals again, which I thrive in the studio. So being back in there has been really amazing. And really just like trying to put stuff out, trying to put out all the hard work that I've been doing over the last 2 years, and making it happen. And that's kind of where I've been at. Is what I've been doing, just like trying to hustle again.
Right. At what point were you saying to yourself, like, all right, it's time to jump into the studio and do what I need to do?
I think I had too many days out in the sun, and I was like, okay, when this isn't right, this is not like, it's like sometimes like you need a good vacation, but I felt like I had like 3 months of just like playtime.
Hmm.
Um, and also, if anything, quarantine has just clarified and given me so much peace of mind that I love what I do so much because I miss it. Yeah, I miss being on a set. I miss being in the studio. I miss writing. I miss just being in a creative space. And so I think it's kind of hard to do when you're just in the four walls of your house, and you're not seeing anybody, or you're not moving in any direction. You're just like sitting there. So I don't know. I think I just had too many days where I was not really productive with the thing that I love the most. And I think that's like when I just kind of put my foot down and was like, nah, this isn't it.
We
This
gotta get
ain't
back to work.
it. We
This ain't
gotta get
it,
back to work.
Keith. How has, I guess, recording and filming and things like that changed during this like COVID time, or if
It
it changed at all.
it has. No, it definitely has. The experience is so different. I think my first time back in the studio, it was very bizarre because I'm such a hugger, and to
Me too.
go in, yeah. So like, like when you see people now, it's like you have to do that weird elbow thing, and I'm sorry, like I can't no, or
Mm-mm.
I don't want to do that, but I know that that's what we have to do. So that was bizarre, like going in and not being able to like fully greet people the way that I naturally feel like I want to greet them. But also like had my own separate entrance into the booth, my own bathroom. The catering was all set up in like different like plastic bat, like it was just so different,
Mhm.
and even on set I filmed 2 music videos this last week, and just like not as many people on set, everybody's wearing a mask, which is like it's difficult to communicate with people that way too. So it's totally different. The vibe has definitely changed, but um adapting I think is going to be challenging no matter what, but I think
Mhm.
it's really just embracing what life is now, and trying to just make the most of it, and make it a place where we can still have fun and still do what we love, even though we do have these things that are kind of holding us back from being our full selves, or for our full selves, or just being in a space that kind of makes us feel like we can't completely just let go, to just like let down that barrier and to just do you, no matter if the mask is on, or if you can't hug, or if you can't fully um be in that space, like to just fill it the way that you know how to best.
Right. Sometimes I feel like people think that I'm deaf because a lot of times when people have their mask on, I'm like, "What'd you say? Wait, can you say that one more time? I can't hear you."
I already can't hear people regardless if they have a mask on or not, so it's very difficult for me. Also, the smiling thing. I was in the grocery store the other day, and this
Mhm.
woman, I was like, I looked over at this woman, and she was like, "I'm smiling at you, I promise." I was like, "Cool."
You honestly cannot tell if anyone's smiling at you. They're mad. Like, because a lot of times I won't
Exactly.
necessarily speak to someone, but I'll smile at them. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? And people just think
exactly.
I'm staring at this point, like some creep.
Exactly. I
Right.
also like I going back to the hearing thing, I have friends that are very soft spoken, and I have like one register of a voice, and it's outdoors. So for me, I feel like everybody can hear me, but then I listen to my friends and they have the mask on, and I'm like, you gotta get on my register now, because your voice is way too soft spoken for me.
I'm gonna
And
need you to
mask
speak up. Like,
on.
use your outside voice, people.
Use your outside voice indoors.
I want to talk about Cruel Summer. Have you guys started filming that?
Nah, man, not yet. Which is such a bummer because I was really looking forward to it. It was
Mhm.
I, we were gonna start working at the top of the year, and now it's just getting pushed. But I'm really excited about it, no matter what, whether we shoot it this year or in 2021. I've already zoomed with my cast 100 times, and I'm so excited to work with all of them. And also, our production team is amazing. Our producers have just we've all been really well at like communicating and getting to know each other. That way I think when we show up on set, we that's already out of the way, and
Mhm.
we can just start working. But I'm really excited about it.
I think it's really interesting how Hollywood has to adapt to this because I'm sure they've started filming things again, right?
Yeah. Hmm.
So I wonder, like, how are table reads done? Or are table reads done over Zoom? Like, how do they film scenes where there is a lot of like backgrounds and things like that? Can you give us some insight on that?
To be honest, I haven't really experienced any of that yet.
Hmm.
And I think that we're all still trying to figure out exactly how we're going to do it, because we're going to be filming on location in Dallas. So I, I don't know. I have no idea. I mean, I'm assuming that table reads will probably happen over Zoom, or as far as everything else goes, I really have no idea. I wish that I had more insight to give you, but I think that
No,
we're still trying to figure it out too.
it's really interesting, like how it just changed the landscape of everything. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Yeah, and what's crazy is now I think people are actually really starting to understand like all of all of the elements that you need to create something. Like you can't watch a television show or a movie without background actors. Like it's not going to feel like it's not going to feel authentic.
Hmm.
When I think a lot of people are like, oh, no, 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 you can just have like, you can have the series regulars, you can have the lead actors just do the scene
No, you
at the
can't.
mall without
Uh-uh.
anybody else there. And it's like, no, 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 you don't get it. You do need that. And I think now like people are actually starting to realize like, oh, there are so many elements that you need to be able to create something, and it takes a lot to put into it. And so I think a lot of people are actually gaining a lot more respect for this industry, and even on the music side as well. You know, there's so many elements that you need to make music. And um yeah, I think I really think a lot of people, like, their perspectives have changed a lot on this industry. And hopefully, you know, when we go back to some sort of normalcy, when we go back into production, or when we're able to like go into the studio the way that we used to again, or kind of used to, whatever that looks like, I think everyone's perspective and feelings towards everything are going to be changed, and for the better, I think.
Because I feel like a lot of people think that it's just you in the booth. Like there's no producer, there's no engineer or anything like that. Like
Yeah.
it's a team. It's not just one person. You know what I
Exactly. It's a
mean?
full collaboration that happens when you're making music.
Right. I want to talk about Love You Again. Congratulations. I heard
Thank
it.
you.
So good.
Thanks, man.
So let's talk about that. Describe that to someone who hasn't heard it, and what do you want their takeaway to be?
Yeah, wow, a lot. Did Love You Again with my friend Rehab. I've worked with him in the past. He's such an amazing producer. I feel really lucky to work with somebody who gets my vibe, and who also can just make fun music. And Love You Again, I heard and immediately fell in love with it. And the story is really uh, relatable, which is mostly why I was obsessed with the song. It really comes from a place of heartbreak, but wanting to be in a space of moving on.
Hmm.
And the song basically is about seeing the person that you were once with potentially showing up with somebody else, and you don't want that. You don't want to see that. You don't want to be in the space with them if they're not going to be with you. And um really just not wanting to be friends with that person, and just trying to cut that off, even though that it's probably one of the hardest things you've ever had to do. And I think
Hmm.
we've all kind of been in that place with somebody, that it's very difficult to move on when you have such strong feelings for somebody. And so the song is uh it is a little sad, but I think the production and the sonically, it makes you feel good.
It does because it's an
Yeah,
upbeat song.
totally.
Right. With with the production and the beat, it sounds really good. Like you can definitely be when the clubs do open up on that dance floor, booty popping to this.
Exactly. But until then, you can pretend the living room is the club.
Absolutely. It's been a minute since you put out music, right?
Yeah, it's been about a year.
Why? I guess why so long?
I really think because I obviously, you know, talking about both music and acting, I
Hmm.
think we're all aware that, you know, whenever you do both, or have a third party in there, it's a little challenging and tricky to do both, or to find the time to do both. And for me, I really wanted to prioritize music and make it a goal of mine to just have that as the one thing that I'm doing in this
Hmm.
time, and to make it to work really hard and to feel proud of the work that I'm doing. And sometimes that can feel a little tricky whenever you're being pulled in 1,000 different directions and doing 100 different things. But um, the last year, I guess, year and a half now, because now we're almost in September.
Hmm.
But the last like year and a half of my life, I really just devoted it to music, and wanted to really focus on something that felt like it was cohesive, and felt like there was a consistent story behind it, versus just because it is nice sometimes to just like, if I'm obsessed with something, to just like drop it, and because that's what I'm feeling right then and there, but also to just like really understand also the songwriting community, and understand what songwriting is. And it doesn't have to be necessarily something that I'm going through right in this very moment. It could be something that I've been through, or that I want to go through, or things that like I've sort of felt but want to feel more of, or that I want to take away. And like I've really just gained so much knowledge because of this. And that was the whole point, was to soak up as much knowledge as possible. And all of this like gearing up to what's going to be my debut album in the new year. And
Mhm.
I'm really excited about that. So I think it's a process, and you want to feel proud of it, and you want to put out music that you can look back on and say, I had such a fun time making that. And I think that is going to be my forever goal.
Right. Do you ever low key get anxiety when you're about to put something out?
Yeah, 100%. Like, especially when you've been holding on to something for a long time,
Mhm.
because you could be really stoked about something the the day before you cut it, the day you cut it, the day after you cut it, weeks after, months after. But then, like, there gets to a point where you've been holding on to it for so long, you're like, is this even good anymore? Do I even sound good on it? Do I even sound the same? Am I even still feeling those same feelings? Like, how am I going to be able to talk about it if I'm not? And so,
Right.
of course, tons of anxiety. But then there's also, that good anxious feeling because you want the song to be out. But of course, like, you get nervous about the feedback and if people are going to like it or if they're going to hate it. And I think ultimately it's just changing your perspective on that, and knowing that if you're confident about it, then truly that's all that matters. And if you feel that, and I feel like when I'm saying this out loud and it sounds so cheesy, but it really is it's a gut feeling. And I think that when
No.
yeah.
Right. Man, I feel like I can talk to you forever. Before we go, I gotta ask, what's
I
next?
could talk, yeah, forever, so go, yeah.
What's next?
What's next? um Really just thriving in the best way that I possibly can. Whether that's in music, whether that's in acting, whether that's dropping songs like Love You Again this
Mhm.
Friday. Just really feeling good about the choices that I'm making, and not just in my professional life, but my personal life. And right now I'm feeling pretty good.
Olivia, I appreciate you jumping on Zoom and chatting with us.
I
Thank you so
appreciate
much.
you. Thank you. That was fun.
It was a great conversation.
It really was.
All right. Well, I will talk to you later. You have a
Sounds so
great rest of
good.
your day,
Thank you. Back at you.
and we'll chat.
Yes, sounds good.